Good morning, welcome to Barre. My name is Melissa, and today we're going to get in a great fitness workout. It's going to help strengthen muscles. Today our focus is going to be more on strengthening than getting our heart rate up, but you will have a great chance to burn some calories in here too. We're going to use some light dumbbells in today's class. If you don't have dumbbells, it's okay to use like a pair of water bottles. You can even fill that with something, other than water to make it a little bit heavier. Exciting dumbbells would be like 4s, 5s, or 6s. I usually suggest people at least stick to or start with 1s, 2s, and 3s. If those weights get too tired, if you start to get too tired in your upper body, you start to lose form, shrug up, set the weights down and just start using body weight only. It's a great way to build and move forward. I always recommend either bare feet or grippy socks in this class. Just depends on what kind of flooring you're on. But we do want a little bit of glide. If you have to wear tennis shoes, totally fine. There just may be some things that aren't safe for you to do, and so I'll always be sure to call that out for you. So, all right, let's get warmed up. Let's get warmed up, ready to start this party. So let's start with those feet a little bit wider in that second position. So I got this turn out by bringing my heels together, lifting the toes, turning out the feet, but really the turnout's coming from the hips, not from the ankle, not from the knee. So we're gonna make that and then step just a little bit wider, and we're gonna start off with a nice little plie. So you're gonna see in this class that we do plies, that we do squats. It's okay, you don't have to have any ballet experience. Most of us here, we're not ballerinas at all. We're just taking some elements from ballet and using them to strengthen our bodies. So as I'm doing this plie, I'm bending my knees and I'm pressing my knees forward and wide. So if you look at this from the side, it's a very small movement compared to a squat, and my upper body is really going straight up and straight down. You'll notice that that actually brings my knees a little bit forward past my toes. All right, it's a tiny movement. 4, and we're gonna pulse down. 3, I want you to feel the inner thigh warming. 2, and come right here. Now, tiny little pulses. So I want you to close off the rib cage, tuck in the tummy. Feel a nice opening through here. Pull the shoulder blades back and down. Now, you may be able to do this with the feet exactly where they are. You may need to move them a little bit wider, but we're gonna go right into a plie squat. So I'm gonna show you the difference with this move from the side. I'm really hinging forward, so you can see how much lower I can get. Now, you don't have to go that low. That's a process to get to over time, so that you arrive eventually at the point where the hips come down to the kneecap level. Take this down, hold it here. Now, as I'm reaching forward, I'm also pulling the shoulder blade back and setting it in place so you get this nice long spine, even through your chest. Oh, good. Hold right here. Let's open through that inner thigh. Nice. We're gonna do some forward leg stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get our hip flexors and our quads nice and warm. And we're gonna do that by just doing little forward leg lifts. Now, when we're doing these forward leg lifts today, woo, I apparently can't do and look at you guys at the same time. Notice how I'm staying nice and tall. When we start lifting legs, we love to do that. You get them higher. Nope, only as high as you can. Maybe it's a tiny baby leg lift. Certainly shouldn't be too big right now because our flexibility is a little bit less at the beginning of class. Good. Few more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now let's do a little bit of side to side motion. Whew. A little side lunge. Warming up and lengthening through the inner thigh. We're gonna get a little inner thigh specific today. So I want you to focus in today's class on actually feeling a little bit through the front of the hip. Now, if that feels too much or feels painful at any point in time, I'm going to give you modifications. Now, we're going to build some endurance. We're going to build some endurance. Take this one over, hold it right here. Nice inner thigh stretch. and switch to the other side. And finally, straight down the middle. Release through the hamstrings a little bit through the inner thigh. Roll on up. And we're ready to get started. Upper body stuff is first. Now, I say upper body. Little wink wink there, right? Because you guys know we get into the legs as well. If your legs are too tired, or maybe you're new to this class and you're looking for those stepping stones, totally fine to leave the leg work out of this. Just focus what I'm doing in the upper body. Likewise, if this doesn't work for you or you get too tired, you find yourself shrugging, feeling things in your neck, just go ahead and drop the weights. Not a problem. Let's start with our feet in parallel position. We're going to do a nice squat. Okay. We're going to do a lot of work today at the bar in parallel position, which is a little bit unusual. Pick up the pace, lower, lift, lower, lift. Let me show this from the side. So I'm getting this nice, again, long line through the spine. Knees are always behind toes. Now you can stop at shoulder height like I am. That's the easiest option. Or advanced, folks, if you want a little bit more. The goal here is straight line. Fingertips, elbows, shoulders, hips, and tailbone. A lot of us, when we start reaching forward, start doing this with the knees. We don't want to do that in a squat. You're going to see we're going to actually take that approach when we get to the bar, but it's going to be tiny. It's going to be controlled. Are you ready? Drop it down low. Reach the arms up. Maybe that's too much for the arms. Maybe you bring them here. Maybe you even bring them here. Lengthen through the spine. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, little work in that turnout. So give me that turnout. We're going to step a little wider. Shoulders and biceps. Nice light weight for this. Palms of the hands are up. And we're going to reach overhead as we come down into that plie. So again, now I'm back to that ballet plie. Not a fitness squat. Show you this from the side. Again, I'm tucking the tummy in, keeping the hips right underneath me, straight and tall through the upper body. It's a small movement. Now let's pick up the pace, but still moving with good control. So you'll notice I'm not bouncy. I'm kind of breathing through this movement, through this space. Should be feeling a lot of shoulders. Even as I'm working these, I'm still using this to pull back so I don't get those shoulders lifted up at all. Take those arms overhead. Nice posture. Tiny little pulses for this plie. Root the feet into the floor. Feel it in the hips. Feel it in the inner thigh. Good job. All right. We're going to do a lunge in that turnout. Let me show you guys. So we're going to start with the feet like this, okay? And I'm going to keep them like this as I step back long into a lunge. If this bothers your knees, your hips, anything, go to a parallel position lunge. No problem. You know, the turnout's small, the movement's going to be smaller. So let's go ahead and start with those feet in that first position plie. And I'm going to step straight back, not a curtsy lunge. So I'm not crossing behind at all. I'm stepping straight back on the railroad tracks, keeping the knees turned out. This takes a lot of balance too. Now we're going to do a bicep reach as we're doing that lunge. So you can already see that my balance is challenged here. So maybe that is the reason, balance challenged here too, that you go to this parallel position. Now, let's pick up the pace a little bit quicker. So you can see this is not as deep as my traditional lunge. I don't think I can look at you guys and do this at the same time. Now, as I'm reaching forward, I want you to think about pressing and pulling through that bicep. Really getting that bicep to engage here. You're easily going to get into the shoulders as well. Can you get any lower through that lunge? I can if I look straight forward. Back knee still under the hip. Long legs. 4, 3. We hold low. 2 for our little reaches. Bring the arms forward. They're not all the way straight, but it's this little motion like you're offering maybe a tray to somebody and then taking it back. 2, 1, good. Bring the feet, I was meaning to transition much more gracefully than that. Bring the feet parallel position like so. We're gonna hinge forward, a little bit of a runner's lunge. We're gonna do a tricep extension. So you're sinking low and through that front leg. Again, we're in parallel position here. Now you're welcome to keep it right here, keep it grounded, or if you want a little bit more, I have no balance today. You're trying to lift and lower that back leg like this. Now advanced folks, I don't even think I can show it legit. You can keep this back leg hovering like this, okay? Oh, I did it one time. This should be much more quiet than what I'm showing. I don't know what's the problem here today. Tired, I guess. Good. The movement's gonna give you a chance to bring in a little bit more glute in that back leg. So I want you to think about that back hip doing the lift. 4, and we hold for extensions here. 2, back of the arm, tricep reach, reach, reach. I'm gonna come closer to show you guys. My arm is not moving up and down. It's a motion, boom, flexing through the back of the arm. Few more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I believe this is the leg I had back. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I'm moving around so much today. I'm losing my way in this. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and standing still on that same leg, I'm gonna have you come forward into a balance. So maybe you stay right here still, but if you can, you're gonna come up here and we're gonna do a nice slow reverse fly. So if you need to, your options are to stay in that former lunge, or maybe even bring that foot forward. But if you can, you're here, holding. Hopefully, I'm parallel to the floor. An advanced option is to look in the side. I know I cannot do that today. Let's pick up the pace, singles. Working through the back of the shoulder blade. Yeah, rear delts. We pulse in 4, 3, 2, bring the back leg down if you need to, bring it up. Little pulses, little lifts. Balancing legs should be burning fire. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right, so we're gonna take these legs and we're simply gonna switch them, okay? So from this point, we're gonna come up into that balance again. And yeah, we're gonna go right back into those reverse flies. So if your muscles are too tired, this is a small muscle group, I'm telling you. You can get a great workout with just empty hands. And again, your options are the same as before. Stay in that runner's lunge that we were in, or even come forward, just like this for a little bit more support. Now, let's pick up the pace, single lifts. Try to lengthen crown of the head all the way down to the toes. Woo! Take this one up, hold it at the top, little pulses. Chest lifts out. Can you lengthen through that leg? We're almost there. 4, 3, 2. Drop the back foot to the ground. We hinge forward at the hips and back to the tricep extensions we go. So your option is to stay right there or to lift and lower the back leg. One of the things I was trying to check in the side view was that my knee stayed behind my toes, okay? We want that. So make sure it's a nice big long step back. And again, advanced folks, you may be able to do this. This is like the most difficult this has ever been to me in my life, just like that, okay? I don't have it. I'm falling all over the place. This is terrible. My balance has been awful lately. Okay, I'm just keeping the back foot down, but don't let my excuses become yours. We reach in 4, 3, 2. Again, it's a flexing your muscle move. Flex, flex. I'm not bouncing up and down. It's a small movement. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Gonna keep that same leg forward. Develop your turnout for that lunge. Same leg stays forward. That leg that was in the back moves to the back. We're going to start with our lunges down and up. So again, this is that nice long step. Your back knee should still be stacked underneath that back hip. And again, go to the parallel position if this does not work for you. Let's pick up the pace. On the toes, always in the back leg. Here's a good tip for balance. I'm taking this right now. As I'm looking down at the ground. Ideally, you look up and ahead. Not happening for me today. Even this is not enough. I'm just gonna focus on me. Leave you guys alone for a few minutes. Ooh. We've got a few more. Can you sink any deeper? Any lower? Almost ready for those little reaches. Think about the biceps. 3, 2, take it down low. Little reach for the bicep. Again, if the legs are too tired, come on up out of that lunge. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the feet close together. Plie position. And then we're going to work those arms. So again, thinking a little bit about the bicep. Now this is an even smaller motion. This narrow position plie. Not even sinking as low or as deep as we were in that wide one. Single time. Use the time under tension right here. And again, everything is stacked. Everything is stacked. Empty hands if you need to. Shoulders and arms, hopefully, are getting a little tired here. 4, and we pulse the plie. 3, pretty arms overhead. 2, good posture. Nice strong core. Tuck everything in. Pull those shoulder blades down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving into those wide legs for a plie squat with that forward arm reach, just like we started out. Yeah? So from the side, we're doing a squat now. So it's that big hinge forward at the hips. Good. Weight back in the heels, single time. Good job. Now if you want a little bit more, start with that longer sweep all the way up. If you find that is messing up your squat form, take the reach out and just go right here, or go with empty hands, or just halfway up. Ready? Take it down low, reach it up, stay hinged, stay back, keep the lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come up out of that. It is time to go down to our mat for some core work, but we're going to keep getting a little bit into the upper body for you as well too. Okay. Let's come on down. We're going to start off with some push-ups for the chest. So we got a little bit into our back with those reverse flies. We got a little bit into our chest here with some push-ups. Okay, let's come on down to the mat. And use a chance to get a nice release through the back of your legs if you want. Walk on out there. Move this. I'm running into my chair, guys. Okay, hands are wide. Middle fingers on the edge of the mat or outside. I see a lot of, garbagey push-ups where the hands are in too close. From the knees or the toes, let's start off with a nice 2-2 tempo. Taking it down and up. Now keep going. Let me show you some options. So you always have this bailout option. I brought my knees forward, but you notice I still stay engaged in the hands, yeah? Or maybe you're from the toes. Single time. Good, down and up. I want you to try to hit all these push-ups, even if that means you need to modify. We are gonna go bottom half singles We go down, halfway up, down, all the way to the top. Good job. It's a small motion here with control and a big motion. Now let's drop down low. Hold it. Little pulses. Little pulses. We're almost done with these. So let's get them all. Move the knees forward if you need to. 4, 3, 2, 1. I was getting lazy in through my core. Your abs should be part of that equation. I was still neutral, but I wasn't as strong as I could have been, you know? And we want to be working that as challenged as we possibly can. Okay, we're going to go into an all fours position, that tabletop position. Knees about hip width apart, hands about shoulder width apart, on all fours. Now, a lot of us, to cheat at these, we come too close and we're like, oh, this is great. Because basically you're just kneeling, right? I want you to think about finding even weight between your hands and your knees. So find that position, and then we're going to reach our left arm up and our right leg up, and we're going to hold right here, and we're going to be lifting up and out, okay? So we're going to lift up, wide, in, elbow to knee crunch, forward, a little wider, forward again, crunch it in. Reach, wide, reach, crunch. Let me show you from the front so you can see kind of the movement that I'm doing. Straight ahead, tiny. So it's almost like a jumping jack style arm and leg. It's not very big. Now keep going. The biggest thing I want you to think about here is, other than when we crunch, keeping a neutral spine. Now most of us like to overreach it and arch. Yeah, that's what we're trying not to do. My abs kick in and my glutes kick in and my core back kicks in. Take it out here. Hold it long. Now get even weight between your hand and your knee. If this is not feeling challenging, you're not doing it correctly. I want you to get even stronger, even longer. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, bird dogs or pointers, I like to call these. One of the easiest things in the world to cheat at. One of the hardest things if you do right. I'm sweating bullets. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. I'm lifting up my right arm. I'm lifting up my left leg. And again, we're going to go wide, in, and crunch. Okay, so we go forward, side, forward, elbow to knee. Find neutral right there. Now I can tell you, for me this side, I'm very weak in the shoulder. So my body is trying to do what I showed earlier. It's trying to push back here in the knee. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It's super easy. Oh, there, I put that even weight into that left arm. And my core said, what on earth? What on earth? Even more stable. Hand, heel, hip, straight line. Take this out, hold it here. Find neutral. Find neutral through the shoulder, through the spine. Can you reach any longer? We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Woo! And you should have still been feeling a little bit of work in through the arm there. Okay, let's come down to a forearm or elbow plank. This next plank is going to be about light in the knee, and I'm going to show options. So we're going to start off with that. So let's all find that plank, and you can be on your toes, you can be on your knees. If you're on your knees, here's what you're going to do for me. You're going to alternate lifting the knee to bring you into those 3 points of connection. Those friends of mine who are on your toes, you're going to tap the knee down. Now I am actually touching my mat. I want you to imagine, instead of a mat, that your kneecap is tapping on a baby bird's egg, yeah? Any tough movement is going to crack that shell. So I'm really trying to be super light. And I'm trying not to let anything move that doesn't have to. So you can see I'm trying to keep my hips still rather than letting the weight come with it. Oh, can you go a little bit faster with still that good control? I'm always having one leg straight. Come on, keep it up, guys. Oh, 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! All right. Into a little side plank. Into a little side plank, and then we're going to finish off the arms. Hopefully the core is getting close to that point as well too. Okay, up onto the side of your knee, or maybe it's the side of your foot. Okay, just like that. Either way is fine with me. We're going to take the top arm and the top leg, and I want you to bring elbow to knee without changing your top or bottom line. So I don't want this, okay? I stay nice and straight, nice and long. Let's pick up the pace. And again, I'm not overreaching here. I'm coming out perfectly straight, perfectly straight. So I'm really having to use a lot of the top of that core to stop the arm and the leg, as well as the bottom of the core to hold up and support me. We're almost there. 2 and 1. Good job. All right, other side. Other side. And again, I want you guys to take the side of the foot if you can. It can be done. I don't have it. Maybe you have that today. We're going to reach in and stretch long. Reach in. So you're really using some control over the top line of the body to stop it right where you want it to be. Reach. A little bit faster, still with control. So this is your fast, whatever that looks like for you. Whatever that looks like for you. Oh, we're almost there, guys. Keep it up. Keep it lifting through the bottom hip. Maybe that's where you're at today, is just holding. Almost there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Woo! All right, I promised that we would get a little bit more into the triceps before we go to our bar. So we're gonna do a tricep push-up. Huge contrast and challenge and position. I'm here for a tricep push-up. I'm here for chest. I want the elbows to brush against the side. They're probably not gonna really be there, but I really think about that. All right, hands directly under the shoulders for this one. Not wide from knees or toes, down and up. Now I can tell you tricep push-up should feel about 3 to 4 times harder than a chest push-up. Okay, single time, lower, lower. And I just want you down, chest to elbow level, if you need to. This is an alternative. Drop the forearm to the floor. Oh, bottom half. Good. Modify if you need to. We're almost there. Back of the arm on fire, yes? Okay, take it down, pulse it here. Pulse. Ah! Don't forget the abs. Shoulders down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh boy. Good job. How do we feel? Great, yeah? Okay, give that a little stretch. It's gonna be time to come to our bars. Okay, awesome. Clasp, roll. Whew. All right, you can move those mats off to the side. We'll bring them back again at the end for some core and some stretching. We're done with those for right the moment. Bring your bars out. It's your chair, unless you guys are spoiled enough to have a real ballet bar. I actually have a portable one that, let's see if I can make space for it in here. All right, when you have an anchored into the wall ballet bar, it's awesome. There's some really different things that we can do in a class like this with that. Okay, so let's start off. Next to our chair, we're gonna play around with some plies with different foot positions. So I want you guys to face the chair. You're gonna see me going here. That's just to show you guys what's happening with my feet. So face your chair, hold on for support. I'm gonna face you so I can show you. You're gonna bring the heels together, turn them out, and we're in position to do the plies. Your hands are on your bar. Okay, so this is what we're kind of used to doing if you're used to taking this class. If you're new, don't worry, you don't have to be used to doing this. You will get used to doing this. But if you look at me from the side, everything's stacked, hips stay under, feet press evenly into the floor. So this is not a very big movement. I usually tell my class, if you're finding a bigger range of motion than me, not saying it's not possible, it's totally possible, but if you're new to this, ask some questions, right? Because it's really easy if I get the butt out of position or I let the heels come up. It's really easy to get lower. And then I'm not doing any of this work. Inner thigh and glutes. Take it down low, hold it here. Now what I want you guys to get used to doing right now is in this position that's very familiar to you, and we're gonna do our second position as well too, feeling the weight in the feet should be even, feeling where this body is and this range of motion. We're gonna take it into that wide V, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now again, you're still facing your bar. I'm gonna move wider to that second position. Holding onto the bar, I'm gonna come down and up. Now our upper body position is exactly the same here. The difference here would be that we're able to get lower and deeper. Single time, pick up the pace. So find that feeling. Even weight in the feet, glutes, inner thigh. Where I'm gonna have you go today that's new is into a parallel position plie, okay? And it's gonna be very small. Your body is used to squatting in a parallel position, so it's gonna super try to squat. Take it down low, tiny little pulse. Just like right now, our upper body stays stacked. There's no tip like there would be in a squat. Just like right now, our weight's gonna press evenly into our feet when we're in that parallel position. So it's not gonna be like a squat where we're sending our weight back into the heels. 2, 1, good. Now, you're again still facing the bar. Bring your feet in, about hip width apart. Heels are not touching, okay? So there's this little bit of space. I should step back so you guys can see better. So, you can see. Boy, it's like dark in here or something. Okay, so my feet are parallel, just like I'm standing around, okay? So we're gonna face our bar in this position, and I want you to really tuck everything, and a tiny movement up and down. This is gonna feel very different. I think it's gonna be smaller for everyone. And you're gonna feel no inner thigh here. You're gonna feel instead quads and a little bit of glutes. Now we're gonna do a lot of work in this position. If this bothers you at all, you're gonna leave the knee bends out. If this is bothering you right here, right now, go ahead and turn the toes out and go into that first position plie. That's totally fine. Are you feeling the glutes? Let's see if we can feel the quads as well too. Different feeling, yeah? Knees are still tracking in line with that second and third toe. I'll show you that from the front. So I'm not letting my knees push wide or buckle in, but you can see how small this movement is. Now we're gonna take it down and we're gonna hold it in those pulses. Now we're gonna be here for a little bit because I want you guys to get used to feeling this. If you're feeling this in the knees, if this is feeling bad to you, one of the biggest things is make it a smaller range of motion. So again, let's tuck it under, close it off, feel strength and engagement right through here. Bring strength and engagement into those quads. Good. Now here is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. And again, your option in the standing leg is to keep the knee straight the whole time. I only want you to bend the knee of the standing leg if that feels okay to you, okay? So what we're gonna do here is I want you guys to stand on your right leg to begin with. Lift the left leg up. This is all pretty normal stuff. We're very used to this. We're gonna do a little hip extension here. Press and release. Good. Now, I'm really, again, thinking about nice and tall here. And I'm really thinking about using the glute and the hamstring of this standing leg to do this movement. Now, we're going to hold this back and we're going to bring in a tiny bend through that standing leg. So this is the same bend that you were just using. So as soon as I bent there, I felt everything engage in my glutes, in my quads, and even a little bit in the hamstring. Now keeping that bend, or again, taking that bend away, your choice. But again, it's a plie position. The butt's gonna try to scooch back. The knee is a little bit forward. And I'm gonna actually show you guys from this side, and you're still moving. Okay, so I'm here. This is a tiny, tiny little knee bend, and it's optional. But it's just a way to get a little bit more challenge and work from that standing supporting leg. Now, let's take that leg back and a little pulse here through the glute and through the hamstring. It's hard too to remember to stay down right here. And now your option is to keep holding the leg back, or even here, because we're gonna do some single leg work. If you can do this, don't force it, okay? But if this is a comfortable stretch for you, this is an opportunity to get a little stretch through that other quad while we do a little work through the standing leg. So we're gonna do that single leg plie that we were just doing. This is a tiny motion, tiny motion. Okay, I'm gonna show it again from the front so you can see. And again, if that's too much to hold that knee for the quad, this is not about the quad stretch. So again, it's tiny. Are you guys feeling this in through the leg? I hope so. We're gonna do a pulse, and I want you to think 1 centimeter or less. You can see I'm barely moving, but boy, am I feeling the engagement in the standing leg. It is a trembling wreck. Almost there. Woo. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want us to turn to the side, okay? So my right leg is standing next to the chair. I'm still gonna be moving that left leg. So we're gonna bring the leg right to where it was at when we first started, right there, okay? And we're gonna do some side raises for the outside of the glute. This is a tiny motion. Do you see how small mine is? Okay, and that's because I have the hips stacked. If I let my hips go out of alignment and I let this knee come forward, I can make this huge, right? I don't want it huge, I want it effective. It's coming from here. So if you're able to turn to the side, that's a great way to see that. I should see head, shoulder, hip, and knee. There shouldn't be a kink right here, because that's gonna bring in that hip flexor. And right now, I'm not interested in the hip flexor. I am interested in the side of the glute. Oh, almost there, guys. Oh boy. 4, 3, 2, hold it here. Little pulses. Pull the knee back to keep the work in the glutes. Keep that knee behind the standing knee. 3, 2, 1. Good job. I need to wet my whistle. Stay right where you're at. It's hard work talking and teaching and doing it at the same time. Okay, so we're still standing on that same leg. Yay, right? This left leg, we're going to keep these feet in parallel position. I do need you to stand sideways now. I should have said that, sorry. I guess I already did. Anyway, hand on the chair, standing near leg, parallel position. Bring that foot out in front of you, just like so. okay? And we're gonna lift and lower that straight leg. So this is kind of like in the warm-up where I was having you guys do these leg lifts. I'm gonna hold on to this and show you. It's gonna be on my far leg. But do you see how I'm standing tall? So this is the height of my leg lift, but I don't want you to do this to get up there. So maybe yours is tiny and tap, tiny and tap. We're feeling some of the hip flexor and some of the quad. Can you go a little bit higher? Focus on the up. It's quick. Up. Up. Now you should be feeling right through here. In a second, we're going to hold long and we're going to do some of those bend reaches. I want you to think about straightening that leg through the quad. 4, 3, 2. If you can, you're going to come up to the heel lift and reaches right here. You'll notice my foot is not going up and down, or my leg is not going up and down. I'm just straightening the quad powerfully. Yeah, lengthen it even more. Can you come up higher on those toes? Almost there. Whew. Now, your challenge here, if you can, for a few seconds, is to find that balance. I don't think I have it today, but maybe you do. Maybe the heel's down. Oh, good. Okay, now we're going to move the feet into that parallel position, the turnout. Were you guys able to feel that? So now I'm going to point the toe and bring the leg straight forward. This is like a tendu, most of you guys have done ballet. But notice how I kept the turnout. It's almost like I'm showing this inside of edge of my heel or my ankle up to the ceiling. So that's going to give me that little rotation, which should engage that inner thigh. I know, I'm dying in that standing leg too. So you can see my leg is still straight. Your lift is going to be smaller. It's still to the front, but you're not going to get as high in this position. Again, feeling the inner thigh and the front of the hip. Let's do a little faster. Push. Push. Good. Feeling that inner thigh. Woo. Now, take it up, hold it up, little pulses across the body. This is tiny. All I want you to focus on engaging is that inner thigh. Can you keep that upper body standing tall? Yes? Woo! I'm feeling it right here. Yeah? 4, and we practice the balance. 3, 2, keep the turnout, and if you can, bring it up. Woo! 4, 3, I don't have it. 2, 1. Good job. Shake them out. Shake them out. And maybe you need to give a little stretch, a little booty shake. We're going to go back to facing the bar before we get into the other side. So I want us to face the bar. Again, I'm going to face you guys. We're going to quickly go through those different position plies and see if you can feel that a little bit different this time. Lower, lift, lower, lift. Okay, you guys are holding. You guys are holding the bar. You guys are holding the bar. That's correct. Now, lower, lift. Good. Even feet. That upper body is kind of like a carousel horse going up and down on the pole. This is my body's tendency. I've beaten that habit out of myself. So I like to look and see. There we go. And I'm going straight up and down. No deviation. I feel that differently. I feel that in my feet. Drop it down. Hold it here for some little pulses. Tuck everything in, everything under. Feel the heat. Feel the heat in those glutes. Woo! Even pressure in the feet for 4. Then we move wide. 3, 2. Let's actually do a balance right here. Come on up. Maybe you're just holding on to that. If you can, up and holding the balance. Pull the shoulder blades back and down. Engage through the glutes. Tuck the rib cage. And come on down. Good. Now we're going to move those feet wider into that second position plie. Feel how a little bit more inner thigh comes into play for you here. Down and up. Oh boy. Still find the glutes. Still a small range of motion. Okay, single time. Now, if we're not used to doing plies, this is a learning process, right? Well, it is for everything. And I mean, I'm no ballerina. I have taken ballet study before, and I've taught this for years, okay? But it's still something that I'm always working on, finding this challenging myself to improve what it is that I've already got going on. Drop it down low. Maybe bring the arms out. Yeah, nice and long. And we're gonna try to find our balance here. It's a little bit tougher to balance with this wide V. Come on up. Maybe you hold on here if you can. Let's bring the arms up overhead. Nice stacked ankle. Woo. Feel the challenge. Find something to focus on. Focus on that posture. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now back to that parallel position. Really tune into maybe what you're feeling on that first side. And again, this is going to be very foreign to us because our bodies are used to doing a plie with the turnout. They're used to doing a squat when we have parallel position. But again, focus on feeling those muscles. Lower, lift, lower, lift. Good. This one's hard for me because my body is really trained to put weight back into my heels with this parallel position. So my thought becomes put the weight into the base of my toes. But your tendencies may be different than mine. And that's part of learning good form. 4, and we hold for those pulses. 3, 2, take it down, hold it down. See if you can feel every muscle in those legs engage. And yes, we're gonna do a balance right here before we go into that awesome single leg work. 2, 1, come on up. And if you can, yeah. Notice if this is harder or easier. Really stack the ankle over the ball of the feet. Give me that good posture. Woo, you're almost there. Feel the calves burn. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right. So now we are going to be definitely facing that bar. Let's see, what did I have you guys? We were standing on the right leg before. We're standing on the left leg now. If I am incorrect, please wave violently into the screen. So that we all don't die. 1,000 deaths. We're good. I saw thumbs up. Okay, so our feet are in that parallel position. We're going to be standing on that left leg this time. Just straight left leg right now. And let's start by doing that little donkey kick with the right leg. Really focusing on squeezing through the hips, through the glutes. Woo. Now your option, of course, is to stay right here in this extended leg, okay? Or your option is going to be to come with me with that tiny, setting up that tiny little knee bend. So it's not big, but I'm just dropping down there, boom. I found the position where everything locked into place. And I'm trying to focus a lot on this standing leg because that's more challenging for me to get right. This part I can put on autopilot. Ooh, get even stronger. Get my body into the right position. Ooh, everything's shaking. Take this leg back. Remember, you can straighten out the standing leg if you need to. Pulsing through that moving leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, option is for the quad stretch. If that's too much for you, just keep that leg lifted. Just keep that leg lifted. I'm going to show you guys from the other side. I'm still in that parallel position, and now we're going to do those single leg knee bends. Okay? So again, this is a tiny movement. Right now I'm really focusing, boom. There, I found it. Right where I'm at right now, I'm feeling the quad. And that's what I want. But it really takes this great big mind-body connection to feel that. Good. Bringing all my weight into all four corners of those feet. Tiny movement. Again, if you're getting lower than me, ask some questions. The booty's probably going back or you're leaning forward. It's tiny, little pulses, few centimeters. We're just trying to find that big engagement and stay with it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ouch! Yeah? All right. Still stay standing on the left leg. Now we're going to go sideways. We're going to be parallel position, bend, and ooh, we're doing the side leg lift. Okay, so same thing as the previous side, and I'm going to show you this also from the side so you can see the important parts, and that's the stacked line. I guarantee that some of us are right here. So again, if you're moving this leg more than a few inches, ask questions. When I'm doing these classes live, one of the biggest things that I do here is I come around the room and I change this, and what people find is that all of a sudden this movement, this range of motion gets tiny, and then that can be a frustrating feeling, right? It seems like, oh, we're not doing as much. This is really about where we're feeling it rather than how big the motion is. Okay, little pulses. Oh, yikes. Right through there. How about that standing leg, yeah? 3, 2, 1. Good job. Okay, still standing on the left leg. Now, we're going to come into that parallel position, and we're going to shape through that right leg. Woo. And we're going to do those single leg lifts straight to the front. And again, I'm staying nice and tall through that upper body. This is not a very big movement. Now, feeling the quad, feeling the hip flexor just a little bit. Now let's focus on the up. Up. Good. With control, yeah? Maybe here's this little one. Only as high as your flexibility and strength will allow you to go. And that means that it's tolerable right through here too. Ready? Take that up. Maybe you come up to the balance, and we're doing those bend stretches. So I'm really trying to straighten through that quad or straighten through that leg right now. Now, if you can, engage through the quad. Let's see if we can balance. Woo! Keep it up. 4, 3, 2, 1. That was a lousy job. I was leaning so far back to get it done. It's okay. We can cheat a little bit. Okay. Bring the heels together. Turn the toes out. We're going to do the same thing in that turnout. So keep the turnout the same. Again, lifting this part of the ankle up towards the ceiling. And we're going to lift, lower, lift, lower. So with the rotation through this thigh, you're going to feel a lot more inner thigh and inside of that quad. So it's a very different feeling than where we previously were. Think about the up. Up. And again, you're not going to be able to lift that leg as high in this turnout position, and that is totally fine. Take it up. We're going to pulse it across the body. So I'm thinking about that inner thigh. It's a very small movement, a big engagement, but keep the engagement through the top of the thigh. We're almost there, and then we're going to find our balance. And then it's core time. 4, 3, 2, and if you can, I need to take this away from me. Come on up into that balance. This is very difficult to do. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Balance is all about doing the best you can. When we build a little bit at a time, that's how we get there. Okay. Let's come on down. Come on down. Let's finish today with some good work for those obliques. All right. So we're going to start off doing some crunches across the body, or some sit-ups. Our legs are going to be long and come all the way down to the ground. If that's too much for you, bend your knees. So if you feel your lower back, that's what I want you to do. I'm kind of in a little bit of that jumping jack position, like we found earlier for our pointers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up to one leg and then across to the other. So opposite hand towards opposite foot, and I'm lowering the legs down with control. You can tell I'm not just flopping them, so I'm focused on keeping the lower back neutral the whole time. Good job. Really controlling. Boom, that's the tough part right there. Boom. And if you need to, you're just reaching up towards those imaginary feet, yeah? So this is about building strength. Woo. And not injuring ourselves. Rome wasn't built in a day. We've got a couple more. Hopefully you're feeling that everywhere, bottom to top. And last one. Good. Bend both knees. Left arm off to the side. Knees fall to the left. We're going to crunch towards that top hip. We're going to come all the way up, down an inch, all the way up, then down. We go up, drop an inch, up, then down. Highest reach, tiny dip. So I'm really focusing on feeling these muscles right through here. Now you notice that I'm crunching towards that top hip, and I'm not crunching towards the knees. A thing to think about there would be making sure you lift both shoulder blades. Are you ready? Take this one up, hold it, little pulses. Those pulses, they're tiny. It's that same 1 to 2 inches. 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. We're finishing up here, guys. So bend the knees, right arm off to the side. Knees fall to the right. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Crunching up, pulse, and down. Good. Lift, lower, lift, down. Woo! Now we often think about, oh, this is working the left side of the core, and that previous one was getting my right abs. But the reality is, we're getting all layers of the abdominal muscles with every single core exercise we do. Some, like when we have rotation through our spine like this, might get more obliques than the others. But if you slice this open, our abs are like a 4-layered burrito wrapper. 4 different abdominal muscle groups. Take this one up, hold it. Little pulses, little pulses. Oh, you're almost done, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right. Fingertips to one wall, toes to the other. Breathe a sigh of relief. You survived. Good job. And let's roll over onto our belly and press up through your elbows and forearms, or through your hands on the floor to lift through the chest. Ah, feel a nice stretch through those abs. And then we're going to reach a hand across the front of our body and sink our hips back. Modified child's pose, bringing a stretch through the side of the body. Come back up. So hopefully that challenged you today, and not just in different muscles differently, but you're coming away with something valuable. If it challenged you, if you thought, gosh, that was hard, I don't know if I was doing that right. What was going on with this move, that move? And those are totally awesome thoughts to have, because this was different stuff. That parallel knee bend is totally different. It's a great thing for those of you guys who like are ballroom dancers like me. Very functional training for the way we need to move our legs, but it's not a typical movement, yeah? So it takes training our mind-body connection. And a cool thing about that with exercise, let's go ahead and stand up, is that when we do these things like that, that require a little bit of coordination. Let's hold on to actually our chairs or something, get a nice good stretch in here. We actually build memory. So we actually, through doing coordination things, keeps our brain and our mind sharp. It's been shown to be just as effective as those brain games, those puzzles that they give us. So if you don't like using your brain like that, you could use your brain like this. Figure 4 stretch, ankle over the knee, and I'm going to sink down. If you want a little bit more, you can press down on that knee. Now it's going to open up through the top of that hip. Ah, that's nice, isn't it? And let's do the other side. Heel to the butt. Really try to drive that hip forward to feel that stretch. I like too that we managed to get a nice extra credit stretch for the quads in there. Tight quads, oh, you're gonna run into knee problems, hip, lower back issues. Now, if you want a little bit more, again, push down on that knee to open up through the hip, a little bigger stretch through the knee. Awesome job. Okay, let's bring our legs nice and wide, and let's come down into a nice inner thigh stretch. Nice lengthening right through there. We got into the inner thighs really good, and we got into the hip flexors really good today. So we're gonna make sure we spend some nice time stretching those bad boys out. Yeah, bring your hands to the floor. We're gonna hang out here for a little forward fold for those hamstrings. And walk a little closer to your left leg. Not gonna all the way reach it, but hang out there. Focus on that left hamstring. Let's walk over to the right leg. Focus on that right hamstring a little bit. And then straight back, slowly come up out of there. Awesome. Let's stretch those hip flexors a little bit. I'm actually gonna come down into a runner's lunge. So I'm gonna come down here. Really wanna open up through the back of that hip. And drop the back knee down towards the ground. Now, some of you guys are going to be able to do what I'm going to show next. Some of you guys won't. That's totally okay. We're going to slide back. I always pick up my foot. I don't bring it to me or I'll get a nice, well, not nice, but a big hamstring Charlie horse. So should have brought in a bigger quad stretch and hip flexor stretch. If you're somebody who struggles to find a stretch when you do a quad stretch, this is an awesome modification for you. Set that down, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Starting off in that runner's lunge, forward knee is behind the forward toes. Open up through the back hip, and you can let that back knee drop to the ground. Open up a little bit deeper. And if it's in the cards for you, sit up, pick up that foot, and come right up into here. I can't thank you guys enough for coming in, spending some time here on your Saturday morning. I know it's never easy, right? It never is. It's never easy to work out. Nobody hands it to us, not any of us. We've got to work for it, yeah. And work not only in here, but work outside of here when it comes to eating habits, other health habits. So it's a little bit at a time. It's a little bit at a time. When you come to classes, don't hesitate to take breaks. I think that's a beautiful part of working out at home. Yeah, you can take breaks. You can do you. You can modify things. Roll those shoulder blades back and down, and finish by giving yourselves a pat on the back from you and a pat on the back from me. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Look forward to seeing you back soon.